My second favorite company from Italy, my first favorite being Ferrari, obviously, has announced that it's bringing back two film stocks from its past. Today, in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the company Ferrania, the two film stocks that they're bringing back, and what does that mean for the industry on the whole. But first, let me give you my 1-minute history of Ferrania. Ferrania is a film manufacturing company founded in Ferrania, Italy in 1923. Later in their history, in 1964, they were purchased by 3M and became Ferrania 3M. In 1999, Ferrania was purchased by Schroeder Ventures and was spun off into a completely separate company. Later on, it was purchased by a Genoese shipping company called Gruppo Messina. And Gruppo Messina stopped all photographic activities in 2009. Ferrania was refounded in 2013 as a film manufacturing company, and they even used a portion of the original campus of Ferrania. And at that point, they kind of burst onto the scene with a Kickstarter campaign announcing to a lot of excitement brand new film stocks that would be releasing under the mark Ferrania. Their original promise and hope was that they would eventually make color slide film. But it was in 2017 they announced the return of a film called P30, which was a black and white film. The film was a panchromatic 80 ISO film with a very high silver content. And to make things even better, the film was produced using one of the original formulas from Ferrania. And like I said a second ago, if you looked at the Kickstarter, the first film that they were originally supposed to have released was a color reversal film, but apparently the engineers and technicians at Ferrania liked the look of the black and white film that they had produced in test batches so good that they decided to release that, and that is what became P30 Alpha. And it was in December of 2019 that Ferrania announced that P30 was ready for production, and the final version of the film was available for us to purchase here in North America. And it was on April 2nd this year, we got a brand new film from Ferrania, and this was a 50 ISO orthochromatic film. And that brings us to today. Well, actually, it brings us to a few days ago on Ferrania's Instagram where they made their announcement. Looking at the announcement, I looked at the top part and saw that it was all in Italian. And because I don't read Italian, I was going to drop it into a translator, but then I scrolled down. Translation already underneath it. So let's take a look at that announcement. So Ferrania says, "A day with the P30. Explore Ferrania's extraordinary legacy in film and photography from yesterday to today. Attend the open day on the 2nd of December 2023 at the Ferrania Film Museum and Modern Production Facilities. Discover the past, present, and future of Ferrania with exclusive previews of the new P33 and P36 films." Wait just a second. We don't already have the P33 and P36 films. And after that, they go on to say, unique cultural and scientific experience with the possibility of testing the P30 in the film. Event organized in collaboration with the Punto Photo Group. So getting to the main point of the post, it is these two new films that we hadn't previously heard announced from Ferrania, the P33 and P36 films. And a quick poke around the internet shows that these are films that Ferrania hadn't made in their past. The Google tells me that P33 was a black and white 160 ISO film, and that P36 was a 320 ISO film. So again, both of these films are films that they have made before. But here we are in the year 2023, and Ferrania has announced two more black and white films. So on the one hand, that's really cool. I don't want to make this video seem like I'm unhappy about this. The more film stocks that we get, the better. I think it's a wonderful sign for the industry on the whole that these companies are seeing enough value in film photography's comeback to continue researching and developing films. But it brings me back to that original Kickstarter and the promise that the company made is that they would eventually be producing color reversal film. And I think that that's what gets folks most excited at this point. It's no mystery that there aren't that many reversal films left, and there aren't that many color films in general left either. So I think that the industry, what we really need are more color films. So again, don't want to seem ungrateful, but the fact that we're getting more black and white films, while it's exciting, it isn't exactly what we're all holding our breath for. And that's especially true when you think back to those original Kickstarters. You don't have to look long and hard to find folks who are pretty dissatisfied with Ferrania because they backed those Kickstarter things. Because you had lots of folks who pledged to help fund Ferrania at the start through their Kickstarter campaigns. And everybody knows Kickstarter's a place where sometimes the business ventures don't pan out. And I'm guessing that's kind of the logic they're using here. And I guess that's the logic that Ferrania is using here, that I guess their original plan just didn't come to fruition. But lots of folks pledged money to Ferrania in the hopes that they would eventually get the things that were promised to them. And some of the tiers on Ferrania's Kickstarter promised color reversal films once they began to roll off the assembly lines. And unfortunately, at this point in 2023, that just hasn't happened. So is that a great thing? Well, no, it's not. So I think at this point, at least some folks out there have a little bit of mixed opinions about Ferrania because they're old enough to remember how they kind of proceeded with their Kickstarter campaign and the lack of fulfillment of those promises. I saw one user on Reddit that posted that they had received a 15% discount from Film Ferrania's website, like that was supposed to be some compensation for their displeasure about not receiving their reversal film. And another aside here, and I'm not trying to cast aspersions, but you look at this company, Film Ferrania, and they've got one film stock, and as of this year, 2 film stocks. You know, you got P30 and P30 Ortho. I'm just sitting here scratching my head trying to figure how the company has managed to survive for the better part of a decade. It's a really strange thing. There have been a number of times that I've been on B&H Photo looking, wanting to try this film. I remember when it came out, it was one of the things that got me hyped about film photography was to see kind of a familiar name from the past, a larger company potentially coming back to the game and making film. I was excited about Ferrania. And I've had my eye out to buy a roll of P30 for the last couple of years and just haven't found it in stock. So number one, how much of this stuff can they be making? And then number two, no color films, no reversal films. I just don't understand how the company continues to exist unless the company wasn't brought back to make a profit, in which case that's probably a better topic for camera conspiracies. Shout out to that channel. But I also touched on this a second ago. There is a broader point to be made, though, about the health of the film photography scene. And the fact that we are still getting new films, it's a good thing. But I think this announcement would be much more widely heralded and much more excitement generated if it were for a color film, or even better, a reversal film. But let me know in the comments, are you guys excited for these 2 new Film Ferrania stocks? And have you been able to snag a roll of P30? And if you liked hearing about color reversal films that didn't come to fruition, well, check out this video I made recently about JCH's Fugu film and the trouble that it's came into. And if you're gonna be buying anything from Amazon, click one of the links in my description. It won't cost you anything extra and it helps my channel out. But as always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see ya.